happens when you take an already legendary muscle car and break all the rules? Back in 1967, Shelby introduced the GT500 and it was a real beast. Big block V8, unique aggressive styling, and the perfect attitude of a street racer. But for many customers, it still wasn't enough. The 427 side oiler swap. That was their second weapon. A move that would transform the GT500 into a track-bred monster way before the legendary Cobra Jet was introduced. It wasn't just an upgrade. It was the moment when owners were the ones to break the rules. It was the moment when owners were bold enough to push the limits. This is the story about the 1967 Shelby GT500 427 side oiler, the rebellious member of the Mustang family that became one of the most feared machines of its era. The Ford Mustang, often referred to as the most legendary muscle car of all time, has a pretty interesting development story. Because, typically, you wouldn't expect the model to evolve and get better with every redesign and every update. With Mustang, many feel that the peak was at the very beginning because no generation that followed left the impact on the automotive industry as the original Mustang did. Through all these decades, it's been the epitome of muscle car beauty, the ultimate pony. And back in the day, it wasn't just pretty, it was capable too. And once again, it seems like the peak was at the very beginning. Most Mustang enthusiasts would pick the initial 1965 GT350 as their favorite performance Mustang, as it was a pure race car, light, nimble, and powerful. After that, the evolution started to go in a little bit different direction. It would become more refined, more comfortable, more driver-friendly. The difference was already noticeable with the 1966 GT350, but the radical change came the year later with the all-new GT500. That model enjoys a cult status as well, but compared to the original GT350, it was rather soft. That car leaned toward comfort and style. It wasn't a track-focused vehicle at all because, as you probably know, Ford's management has always been exceptionally pragmatic. They knew that buyers were never going to use their Shelby GT500 on the track, so they turned it into a versatile street performer. It became more accessible to average drivers in the way that the suspension setup was softer, while the interior was loaded with comfort and convenience features. Shelby did everything possible to distinguish the new GT500. The idea was to offer a perfect blend of performance and style. From today's perspective, it's clear that Shelby engineers have done an exceptional job, as the 1967 model is widely recognized as one of the best-looking Mustangs in history. Shelby managed to turn Mustang's beautiful lines into something that's way more aggressive, even sportier. So they added a longer fiberglass hood with functional scoops, designed for improved airflow, along with rear exit vents for seamless heat dissipation. Furthermore, the 1967 GT500 is easily recognizable with those inboard high beams and large rear quarter panel scoops that don't have any particular function, but look amazing. Standard Mustang taillights were replaced as well. The GT500 featured a 1967 Mercury Cougar sequential taillights with a more refined appearance, while Shelby's specific rear deck lid and spoiler improved both aerodynamics and styling. From the side, the GT500 would stand out with famous Cobra badges, Shelby GT500 badges, Magstar, or Shelby wheels, and those legendary stripes, which play a significant role in the GT500's identity. On the inside, the GT500 would come with an integral roll cage, as well as retracting inertia reel shoulder belts, which were the first of their kind installed on an American car. The GT500 was one of the most impressive Mustangs back in the day, but once again, the idea was to offer the ultimate blend of comfort and performance, which led to the decision to move those famous rally pack gauges from the steering column and position them below the radio, and upgrade them with Stewart Warner green line gauges, adding a unique flair to this specific version of the Mustang. Then there was the name. Shelby wanted to separate this version from any other Mustang, and it needed to get a number higher than any other car. Not just Mustangs, but rivals as well. Back in the day, the most prominent performance muscle cars had monikers like 426 on Hemi-powered cars from Chrysler Corporation or 427 on GM high-performance products. After all, it needed to distinguish itself from the small block GT350, but once again, the 500 in its name didn't have anything with engine displacement or any other technical specification, including horsepower. No, it was pretty much a random name Shelby picked, believing no other car would come with such a high number in its moniker shortly. After all, Ford wanted to distinguish it from the GT350's 289 small block V8 because it was time for a big block to take the spotlight. Which leads us to the main part of this video, the engine. Today, the GT500 is typically associated with the Cobra Jet engine, the capable 428 V8 that was heavily upgraded by Shelby to provide adequate performance. But the thing is that this engine came only in 1968, so there was a solid portion of GT500s produced before which used a different 428 engine. That one was a Police Inceptor engine, also modified by Shelby. It came with Shelby's cast aluminum intake manifold, dual 4-barrel carburetors, and performance hydraulic camshaft, which was enough upgrade to provide a max output of 355 horsepower and 420 pound-feet of torque. This was a pretty good engine. It was torquey and powerful enough, the perfect street engine that blends power, flexibility, and everyday drivability. But performance enthusiasts wanted more. They wanted a level of performance comparable to, at the time, more capable competitors from GM and Chrysler. They wanted something that would correspond with the GT500's exclusive styling and range-topping status. And, since the Super Snake remained just a concept, it was time for an engine swap, for another kind of side oiler, for another 427. So, if you would walk into a Shelby dealer in 1967 to buy a GT500, you would get the one with the 428 V8, the upgraded Police Inceptor. So, the only way to get more power was to opt for an upgrade. Dealers offered a perfect swap engine, the 427 side oiler. It was Ford's race-bred big block engine, originally designed for NASCAR and endurance racing. Compared to the 428, it had several exclusive features, like cross-bolted main bearings, mechanical valve train, and of course, that unique side oiling system that would ensure better lubrication to main bearings during heavy exploitation. The difference in performance was significant. While the stock 428 was good for about 355 horsepower and 420 pound-feet of torque, the 427 side oiler would come with a different carburetor on offer, with the max output going all the way up to 425 horsepower. Which was enough to turn the GT500 into one of the most capable cars on the street. But the thing is that power wasn't the only reason for the engine swap. Simply, the 428 wasn't a particularly reliable engine. It was capable, but when driven hard, it would often fail. In that case, owners would come to their dealer and install a new engine, and the choice was the 427, as it would be significantly more reliable and durable. Also, this swap was a pretty straightforward process because the two engines were externally very similar, so the installation was fast and simple. The new side oiler would make an instantly noticeable difference in track performer. With a more powerful engine, the GT500's chassis would also show its full potential with its high-performance suspension and drivetrain. But at the same time, it kept nice road manners in the way that it was more than suitable for daily driving, despite all the power. Moreover, it was even equipped with comfort features like power steering, power brakes, air conditioning, etc. Altogether, it's pretty legal to say that the 1967 Shelby GT500 427 side oiler was more than a typical high-performance Mustang. It blurred the lines between the street car and the track weapon. It broke the rules. Ford may have intended the GT500 to be a more refined, more road-friendly muscle car, but enthusiasts had other plans. They wanted more power, and that led to a grassroots change. Dealers and owners would swap out the factory 428 for the race-bred 427 and turn already a capable machine into an untamed beast. In that way, GT500 owners would defy conventional thinking at the time. Back in the day, muscle cars were either comfortable grand tourers or stripped-down performance machines. There was no interfering between the two. But then, the GT500, with the help of its owners, managed to blend aggressive styling, daily drivability, and race-proven engineering into a single package. They showed that a muscle car can be as comfortable on the boulevard as it's ferocious on the track. After all, the GT500 showed that limits weren't meant to be pushed, that performance wasn't dictated by factory specification, and that the true spirit of muscle cars is much more than just horsepower. The GT500 side oiler broke the rules to create something truly legendary. What do you think of the 427 powered GT500 side oiler? Was this the birth of the ultimate Mustang? Let us know in the comments, and of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more reviews of legends that rewrote the rulebook. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.